I just wanted to come on here and let you know that my video for this week is going to be of my mama and some funny stories that she has of me and my brothers when we were growing up, and things that have happened throughout her childhood, and just things like that I'm going to try to capture from time to time. And I'm going to put it in a video. I'll probably make these ever so often, and y'all will probably just get a kick out of it. I think my mama's a pretty funny person most of the time. She thinks she's funny all the time, but you know. Anyways, I hope that you enjoy these stories and get a kick out of them. I said from the beginning that my YouTube channel would make you laugh, make you cry, touch your heart, give you a blessing. I don't know, but I just want it to be all around amazing and fun to watch and enjoyable. So I hope that you like these videos and you get a kick out of them. And like I said, I'll probably do this more often. So I hope you enjoy.
Anyways, so Mackenzie wants me to tell the story about the time Tanner got in trouble in kindergarten for drawing boobies. Miss Persons called me, and she was like the OTI lady, which is the equivalent of ISS in kindergarten. And she called me and she said, I got Tanner in here. He's in trouble. And I said, all right, well, what did he do? She said, well, he drew, I really think she said titties, but anyways, he had drew some pictures of some booby. Oh, sorry. he drew a picture of some boobs. And so I got Tanner home, and I said, Tanner, I said, all right. And when he come home, I said, Tanner, why, baby, were you in trouble? Why'd you draw that picture? He said, this is how it happened. He said, I was sitting at my desk, and I drew a mountain. I drew two mountains, and I put some snow on the top of them. And my friend sat down beside me, and he said, hey, write my daddy's name. And I said, I'm sitting there listening. And he said, and so I asked him, well, what's your daddy's name? And he said, Bob's. I said, Tanner, you have drew a picture of titties. And it was boobies he wrote on. He wrote boobs. And that's what he said. It was his friend's daddy's name. Bob's. I was like, no, boobs. Hey, y'all. Mackenzie's making me tell a story. And she's had me dig way back and pull one out. I'm going to tell y'all about the day I told about 50 teenagers about property taxes. You think, did they teach that in school? Oh no, they didn't teach this in school. But I was working, cutting hair, working my fingers to the bone, taking care of my kids, getting carpal tunnel, and getting bone spurs on my feet for these children that wouldn't get jobs. Well, not Mackenzie, because Mackenzie was grown at this time and living on her own. So I was managing Smart Styles, a salon here at Walmart. Well, I didn't get off usually till 5:30. Well, it was the summertime. 100 degrees outside, felt like 100 degrees. Broad daylight. I got off at 3 o'clock. I got off early and I thought, I'm gonna go home and rest. I'm gonna go home and sit down. When I rounded, well, when you come down our driveway, it comes to a fork. You go to the left, you go to the neighbors, you go to the right, it comes to me. And so when I rounded the fork in the road, there was cars parked everywhere. Down the driveway, in my yard, everywhere. It was a block party, and like on a Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Honey, I come flying through there in my minivan. gritting my teeth so hard, I'm surprised they didn't break off. And I was like, well, I wasn't saved. So I was cussing in an excessive amount. An excessive amount. And if you was ever exposed to my mouth before I met Jesus, you can only imagine what I was saying to myself, riding down the road, listening to Gulf 104, just mellowing out. And then I turned and seen all them cars. So I made my way through. My driveway where we park our vehicles is like a 4-car, you can park like 4 cars in one row. That's how big it is. I couldn't park my van. They was all parked in my parking spaces. There was about 10 cars parked in my parking spaces. Thus, I had to drive the loop around. So, if you go all the way around my house, you can pull around and park in the back and come in the back door. The devil is a lie. When I turned that corner, they had the little rat finks had parked in the driveway. There was like 3 cars parked in my back driveway. I couldn't even get to the back door. I had to park, I won't say the back 40 because I don't live on but about 4 acres, but definitely the back 3.99. I had to park. Honey, I had my pocketbook in my finger. I was mad. And when I hit that front yard, they was all, look, they done just like this when I drove by at 40 miles an hour. Everybody. So by the time I got through parking the van and made it back to the front, some of them had done decided they could go home to their mamas. So let me tell you, I come up here and I can't even explain it to be funny or humorous because I said so many cuss words. So if your kids that are the same age of mine have ever come home and said, Miss Susie cussed us out, they're not lying. They're telling the truth. I cussed out kids, and I'm not bragging about it. It was not one of my finer moments. And then I gave them a lecture about who pays property taxes, and that when somebody pays them property taxes, they park in the parking spaces. Not them. They don't pay my taxes. That parking space is for my van and my van only. Property taxes 101. I had cars peeling out of here, which I did say, who's driving you? Who's driving you? Who's driving you? And if you come back, I'm calling your mama. If you come back on my property, if I come home from my hard day's work and you're parked in my parking space again, I'm calling your mama. So, I literally cussed out 50 kids. Now, I'm going to tell you, my boys have never been respectful. I could hang the moon and they would still tell me I done it wrong. And so, none of them kids say nothing back. Some of them hung their little heads. Some of them was kicking their foot in the dirt. And I know that was they was thinking, let me get out of here. They was about ready to snake crawl on their bellies from 1775 Luzetti Lane. So, these kids got in their vehicles and they left. And I told them to never return again because I paid the property taxes. Only problem with that was, didn't run the hammocks off. Tried that too. Didn't work. I come inside after everybody left and they just followed me on in the door like Peep and Squeak, Pit and Pat, Ren 1010. They just right behind their little mama. And that, my friend, is the story of the day I cussed out 50 teenagers in my front yard and told them about the property taxes. Is that making my double chin go away? You don't even have one. Yes, I do. I seen it on that other video she made. I pure didn't have a neck.
Listen, whenever I watched the other video that you made and I was wearing that green and white shirt that I had
With
on this
stars
morning,
on it.
I said,
I ain't wearing that today.
I ain't wearing that today. So I put on a solid color and you can't really tell how fat I am.
No, when she made that other video and I was looking at my neck, my profile was like, what happened to my neck? Where's your neck, Brown?
And Lizzie said, you delicious.
That's how I look. I was looking at it thinking, my God, I need a fat intermission. Blank, awkward stare. Anyways, hey, have y'all lost your minds? Don't be jumping. It's a mobile home. It ain't sturdy. Anyways, I worked at a salon, a complete salon in Perry. My boss was Holly Ward. Hey, Holly. Still my friend since we were in the 2nd grade. I digress. Anyways, so every day we had kids the same age at the salon. Me and Holly and another lady, Kathy Fletcher. Amen. Oh, sorry, Kathy, about that. Ugh, Kathy, amen. Well, Fletcher was her main. No, either way, Kathy, amen. We all worked together, and all of our kids, Holly had 3, I had 3, Kathy had 4. We all worked together down there. In the afternoons, we'd make school runs and grab everybody's kids, or Holly would pull up on the school bus and drop everybody out. We always had a salon full of kids. Well, which was all right for their well-behaved children. My kids were not well-behaved. Mackenzie is well-behaved. Jack wasn't even probably born at this time. No, he wasn't. So Tanner, who was 9 or 10 years old, comes in, and if you know Tanner, you just never know what might come out of his mouth. Literally never know. If I had a nickel for every time he has humiliated me beyond reason, I would be a millionaire. I wouldn't be sitting here doing YouTube videos to make Mackenzie rich. So I had a customer, and shout out to Rachel. She's now Rachel Devane. But at that time, Rachel's name was Rachel Fagley. I said it, Fagley, F-A-G-L-I-E. So I have Rachel in the chair. She had been my customer since I had just got out of hair school. We had built a relationship. She told me everything. I told her everything. We were good friends. Thank God it wasn't no prudish customer in my chair at the time. It would have been horrible. It was already horrible enough. So Tanner walks in, he goes to the store, gets his little Jiffy store, because they was always having to go to that Jiffy store to get something. Comes back in, and he'd just stand beside me while I was doing hair. I'd be doing hair, and he'd just stand here. And he'd say things like, "Why is it green?
I can hear him say that.
Ooh, you messed that up." And he was serious as a heart attack. It was horrible. So he's standing beside me, and Rachel's speaking to him. She's known Tanner. He knows her as Rachel. Never would I have told Tanner her last name, because I knew if I ever said her name is Rachel Fagley, it was going to be like the heavens had parted and the angels were like, for Tanner Hammock to go to town with it. So he said, he was talking to Rachel, talking to me, and Rachel said something to him, and then he said, somehow her name come up. And he said, "What's your last name?" And I said, I tapped Rachel on the shoulder. I said, "Do not tell him your last name." And she laughed. She didn't understand. She did not know the ways of Tanner Hammock. And I said, she said, "Why? I can't tell him my last name." I said, "Do not tell him your last name. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." Tanner said, "Tell me your last name." And I said, "No. Now shut up about it. Don't ask her again." And he said, "How bad can it be?" And she said, "Oh, pretty bad, pretty bad." I said, "Yes, it's bad. And we're not telling you. Go away." And he said, "How bad can it be?" "What is it?" "Rachel Vagina." And when I tell you, never in my life did I think that that's where he had went with that conversation. And I just looked at her, and she like spit her soda out on the mirror. And I was like, you can't, don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. Do not engage the hammocks in conversation. Do not talk to them. So anyways, that was the day Tanner called my customer to her face Rachel Vagina.